Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about something that quietly shapes food safety in every manufacturing plant, every single day. Most facilities put a ton of effort into cleaning, training, and writing procedures. But what if I told you there's a powerful, often overlooked factor that can either supercharge your efforts or completely undermine them? I'm talking about facility layout, the way your plant is designed, how people move, how materials flow, and how different processes interact, is a silent partner in your food safety program. Today, we're going to dive deep into how your building's layout directly impacts the risk of cross-contact. We'll explore why even the most well-managed plants can struggle when their layout isn't aligned with modern food safety principles. If you work in food manufacturing, quality, or operations, trust me, this is a conversation you need to be a part of. So when we say layout, what do we really mean? It's so much more than just where you put your walls and equipment. Your layout is the physical blueprint that dictates the flow of your entire operation. It defines product flow, from raw ingredients to finished goods. It dictates personnel movement, where people can and can't go. It controls material handling, waste removal, and even how easy it is to access equipment for proper cleaning. A thoughtfully designed layout creates a system of control and consistency. It makes the right way to do things the easy way. On the other hand, a poorly designed layout creates chaos. It forces unnecessary interactions between incompatible areas, which then requires you to add more rules, more signs, and more checks just to compensate. In short, your food safety program becomes an uphill battle when the layout itself is working against you. Now, let's connect this directly to cross-contact. Cross-contact isn't a random event that just happens. It's almost always a predictable outcome of specific conditions. It occurs when raw and finished product areas are too close together, without adequate separation. It happens when personnel move freely between high-risk and low-risk zones without clear control points. It happens when tools and equipment are shared improperly across different production lines, or when airflow and traffic patterns aren't managed. Think about it. The facility layout influences every single one of these factors. When your layout allows for uncontrolled movement, all the procedures and training in the world won't be enough to stop every potential issue. People will take shortcuts if the correct path is inefficient or illogical. That's not a failure of the person, it's a failure of the design. So what are some of the common layout challenges we see in the industry? The reality is, many facilities weren't originally designed for their current production demands. They've grown organically over the years, with new lines and equipment squeezed into existing spaces. This often leads to some classic problems. For example, a clear one-way flow from raw to finished product might not be clearly defined or even possible. You might see limited physical separation between different processes, like an allergen and a non-allergen line running side by side, with only a painted line on the floor. Work areas become congested, making cleaning and inspection difficult. What started as temporary storage in a hallway slowly becomes a permanent fixture, blocking traffic and creating clutter. And worst of all, you end up with shared pathways where people, raw materials, finished products, and waste all travel down the same corridor. Each of these issues adds a layer of complexity to your operation. And as we all know, complexity is the enemy of control. When faced with these layout challenges, what's the typical response? More rules, more procedures, more signs telling people what not to do, more training sessions reminding everyone of the policies. But here's the hard truth. Procedures are often just band-aids for a design flaw. They are compensations, not fundamental solutions. When your layout forces an employee to cross a high-risk path 20 times a day to get a tool, you can train them, you can put up a sign, you can even discipline them, but you haven't solved the root cause. The system is setting them up for failure. Even the best, most well-trained teams have their limits. The goal of great food safety design isn't to rely on perfect human behavior 100% of the time. The goal is to create an environment that naturally guides people toward the right actions, making compliance feel intuitive. We're not aiming for an impossibly perfect facility. We're aiming for practical, sustainable control. This is where we shift our thinking and start viewing layout as a powerful preventive control. An effective layout is proactive, not reactive. It supports prevention by its very nature. It establishes a clear, logical process flow that's easy for everyone to understand and follow. It physically separates incompatible activities like raw meat handling and ready-to-eat packaging, making cross-contact far less likely. It's designed to reduce unnecessary movement, minimizing foot traffic and material transport across sensitive areas. It reinforces your hygienic zoning program with clear physical barriers or transitions between zones. A good layout also improves supervision and visibility, making it easier for managers to see what's happening on the floor and address issues quickly. When your layout aligns with your food safety principles, your controls become simpler and more robust. Prevention becomes part of the building's DNA, not just a rule buried in a binder. So how does this translate to the real world of audits? When an auditor walks through your facility, they are reading the story your layout tells. They aren't just ticking boxes, they're evaluating the entire system through observation. They're looking for that logical flow from raw to finished. They're looking for clear physical separation of activities, not just signs. They're checking for consistent application of your zoning rules. Do people actually change footwear where they're supposed to? They are also assessing the alignment between your layout and your written procedures. If your SOP says a path is for finished product only, but the auditor sees raw material carts using it, that's a major red flag. They want to see practical controls that actually work in the real busy conditions of your plant. A clear, organized layout tells an auditor that your food safety program is intentional and well managed. A confusing, chaotic layout immediately raises questions and invites deeper scrutiny. Now you might be thinking, this is great, but we can't afford a massive renovation right now, and that's a perfectly valid point. The good news is, improving your layout doesn't always require a construction crew and a huge budget. Many significant improvements can be made with strategic, low-cost changes. Start by mapping out your current flows and look for opportunities. Can you reorganize flow paths for materials or people to create a more linear process? Can you better define your hygienic zones using floor markings, colored equipment, or simple physical barriers like movable partitions? Sometimes, just adjusting storage locations to reduce travel distances can make a huge difference. Use visual management, clear signs, color coding, and floor tape to make the correct paths and zones obvious to everyone. Most importantly, get your teams aligned on the purpose behind these changes. When people understand the why, they are much more likely to adopt the how. These small, smart changes can dramatically improve control without breaking the bank. To wrap things up, your facility's layout is one of the most powerful and yet most frequently overlooked tools in your food safety arsenal. It's a constant influence on behavior, consistency, and your ability to prevent problems before they happen. When your layout is designed to support your food safety principles, managing risks like cross-contact becomes far easier, and your entire system becomes more reliable and resilient. Ultimately, world-class food safety isn't just about what people do. It's about creating an environment that is intentionally designed to support them in doing the right thing every time. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this helpful, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content on building stronger food safety systems. See you in the next video.